So what is it that you want? What did you come here for? What is it that you want out of this? And I mean really want. I don't mean intellectual ideas about what you want. I mean it from the body, underneath. What is it that you really want? The mind might say, I want enlightenment, but what is enlightenment to you? Because really the person's always looking for feelings. It's always looking for a particular feeling or response to life. So it's looking for the feeling of feeling good if it wins the lottery, or the feeling of having enough money. And they're not really feelings, but they come with the feelings behind them of satisfaction or joy or happiness. So what feelings is it you want? So we have the story, we want enlightenment, but what is that? What is enlightenment? And the reason why I say it comes down to feelings is because that's what's actually happening, is the sensations appearing in the body, the responses appearing. So you have an idea of what money will bring you or what love will bring you, and have an idea of what the feeling will be when you get that. There's no other way around it. Whatever way you imagine it, whether it be saving someone, it's always a feeling, a sensation that responds to that imagination, and you think, that's it, that's what I want. So what feeling is it that you're looking for? So if you imagine getting enlightenment, what does it give you? What is it that you're imagining it will give you? On one level, it's really important to understand what the human wants. We often go around in life believing we know what we want, but that's not really true. Normally, what we think we want, or we think we know we want, is money or a girlfriend, a boyfriend, kids, a house, a job, a new dress, a new shoes, new decorations, food, cake, chocolate, sex. So these are the stories that go around. And what is the feeling that you really want from them? That we never are conscious of. We're always conscious of the story we're telling ourselves. And why it's important to understand is it's important to understand the way the person is set up and the way the person is functioning on one level. And when you really begin to understand that person and you really begin to understand that character and what it's doing, you'll notice that it always wants love. What it's really going for all the time is love in everything. What that separate person wants is the feeling of completion, the feeling of wholeness. But I can't really tell you this. This has to be really seen and really explored as to what you want. And the thing that's really tricky about it is that which you want underneath, when you really begin to see what you want, is kind of beyond a feeling, but you know it. You know it really well. You've always been looking for it. In fact, in a way, you could say it's always been there because you've always known what it is you want, because if you didn't know, you wouldn't be able to seek for it. So in one way, it's always been present. It's right here. What you want in all the things, what you want for yourself, what you want in enlightenment is always present. And it must be, because in order to imagine getting something, you must know it. You must be able to taste it. It's here. It's present. What you're looking for never left. The other things, the getting the food, the chocolate, is a sensation of pleasure which arises and disappears, or a sensation of pain that arises and disappears, but it's actually not that interesting. It's kind of, we prefer pleasure to pain, but it's not that interesting. What's really interesting is that sensation of completion when you just feel home. And you know it. Or it is known. It's what's always been and what will always be, no matter what you think you need and want, or think you don't have. This really see clearly that the person is always going for that. In the lover, in the friend, in the food, in the sex, in the watching TV, it's always trying to get to that bit of completion, that moment where it feels home. And this isn't something to learn. This isn't something you'll learn from a teacher. This has to be seen. As this becomes seen, the addictions to trying to find it in time and space will begin to disappear. What you're really looking for is not obtainable, but is your nature. It is that which is experiencing itself. It's this presence. It's not containable, but it's here, beaming. The reason that it feels not present is because there is the fixation on the person that's telling itself the story. It needs something and it's incomplete in some way. And that's become the energetic expression. What you're looking for is that sense of being. And it's not really a feeling, but it's known, it's a sense that this is, that you are. If anybody has any questions, they're very welcome. Hey. Yeah, take your time. Okay.
The question is something like, if it's not, you said, I don't remember, about feeling, it's not in the feeling, but it comes with a feeling.
It's kind of love is what you're looking for, which is kind of a feeling and not. It's a sense. It's love. Not the feeling, conditioned feeling when you fall in love with someone, but love, this sense of presence. It's sense, it's known. And in all your actions, that's what you're looking for, is that sense of being. And you could call it love, that feeling of love, because in that feeling of love, it's really close. It's not quite the feeling of love that you have personally with people, but it's really close to that. It's that sense of love, of completion, of wholeness that you have when you love something, when you look at a baby and you suddenly are in awe, or you see a dog playing or a puppy playing, or you see people laughing or something, or when you fall in love. But when you fall in love, it comes with lots of pleasure as well, so that's a little different. But it's that sense of presence, of home. So you're looking for the feeling of love, but that's still you with a feeling of love. That's not quite it, but it's kind of there. That's kind of similar. That's what you're...
It's always maybe the memory gets in the way of so-called experiences.
Yeah. Do you feel this sense of I am now?
I'm not good with I am. Funny, that says nothing. I am. I I feel presence.
Yeah, presence, okay.
Presence.
Yeah, and the presence, like, even though it might feel very dimmed because it's really focused on the person that's got a life moving in time, that presence, you could say a quality of it is love. It's this awakeness.
At the moment it's so much
Other sensations.
other sensations.
Yeah. Yeah.
But its presence is there too.
Yeah. And have you noticed that your whole life you've been looking for it? Can you feel that?
At least the last years, I know. It feels like that. Before, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to remember these things. And the reason why it's so important is because you'll play such bizarre games as a separate person trying to look for it. And these games will lead to suffering because you'll look in the wrong place. You'll look in people being a certain way, in always having pleasure, in certain events happening, in having holidays that look like paradise, or being a certain way, or people behaving a certain way, whereas really all of these things are pleasure and pain. But while you believe that love is anger and all emotions, there is a natural flow to them, but they become super intensified when you believe that that presence is found in an object. So this is when, you know, the suffering and the worry and the anxiety can last for days, weeks, years, because you believe that home is found in time. And through that belief, on the negative side, on the backside, you encourage all the negativity. So you encourage the worry, the anxiety, because you're always trying to get it, and you're always having the sensation, I'm getting something wrong. So there's this wheel going. And it's not that human feelings have to go. Human feelings are an important part of being human, but they become so intense when you believe presence is there. And so my job is to point out the presence, so the non-dual side, and now I've taken it on to be my job more to really point out to people what they're doing, like on the personal level what they're doing.
I want to say that too, is I love so much that you're all the time, like every day since we're here, you say presence, presence. I love that so much.
Yeah.
It's so good because...
So obviously there is a resonance then, a really strong resonance with it. So it's beginning to become known. And the more it becomes known, the less energy will go into those games that you play in time. And then at the same time, what also happens, well, the knowing is being remembered, you also see what you've been playing your whole life, the game you've been playing. And the way the mind works, it starts as a young child and it picks up information. Okay, so when I'm good, that means I get, they love me. And that love is presence. The mind associates presence with they love me. That feeling of presence.
I think I always looked for being loved.
Yeah.
Because I felt not loved.
Yeah.
Or still feel often not loved. And then I always wanted love from other people.
Yeah. So what happened in the beginning was you separated. You're not even conscious of this. There's no memory of it. So there was this awakeness, this presence everywhere. The separation happened, and then the story that began to run, maybe because the mother or father didn't give you enough attention, or they could have given you too much. It could have gone either way. But your mind associated, they don't love me. But actually what it was God doesn't love me. That was the initial feeling, was that you'd been rejected by that presence. Then your mind projected it on to others. So your mind projects that others don't love you, when really it's you feel deep down yourself as God, as wholeness, doesn't love you. Yourself has rejected yourself. So actually you're in war with yourself.
Yeah, it's a feeling of I'm wrong.
Yeah, yeah. And really the true feeling that underneath all the stories that run, and they're all based on the same story, is that you feel like you've betrayed yourself. You lost your lover, which was presence. When separation happened, you feel like you lost something. Oh, they have a generator. We're in one of the rich hotels. So we'll come back on.
This is not conscious what you said, the last sentence. Like, at least here, this is not known.
You're not, so,
I have done it.
yeah, that's what you feel. That's why in Christianity it's the original sin. Because you feel like it's really happens really quickly because there isn't a divided, I get so excited. Here it comes. Then Tanya's like, oh God, she's moving again. I bought a thing that doesn't really move, like what's this called? Like a stand. So, okay. I just wish I could just go, boom. Maybe I can. Boom. So, there isn't division here. There isn't a divide. So the only thing that can divide is the mind. So separation comes with language. So separation started when the language started in the brain, when that area in the brain started at 1 or 2 years old. And the way that it happens is you divide. It's nothing, it's all you. It's all the separate you that divides. So you suddenly see yourself, so there is yourself and you've lost yourself. So in your brain, the first thing that happens is there is a wholeness, then you divide. One of the divisions is the world, is the outside world, and the other division is you, but it's your brain that's done it. There isn't a division between world and you. So your brain has created an external world, which is one half of you as the separate person, and then the internal world, which is one half of you. And then in the external world, you project that people take things away from you, so they don't love you enough. But it's your world, it's your reality.
And how do I reverse it?
It's in everything. Your mind feels like it's divided, but it never is. It's like that external and the internal are the same thing. You think I'm outside of you, but that's your mind that's divided. I am you, and you are me. It's so beautiful. So the healing is that yourself heals yourself. So your apparent external self is guiding you home. But there is no divide, there is no external world, and there is no internal world to guide home. But in your divided reality, that's what seems to happen. And that home is presence, is what's already here. So really, there's nobody waking up nobody. There's nobody really here. It's just your mind at a young age, divided inside, outside. And there was never that. There was never inside, outside. But it's so tricky because I can hear some of your minds all going, hang on, there is definitely an inside, outside. Look, Lisa, Jesus, you're in denial. She's in the Advaita trap. Get her out. But I promise you there is an inside, outside. There is presence. And then with these instruments, in order to function, they see things, they invent things. So they say table, whereas to Khaleesi, this isn't a table. This is just as it is. This isn't floor, it is as it is.
I understand that.
Yeah. So it's all mind-made, the division.
Yeah.
But it's so real. It becomes so real because it's like that. And then you're saying, how can you say that I'm not that, which is what I can see? I'm pretty sure that's right. It becomes so close, your sense of being something.
But if there's no thought, then it's easy to...
Sort of, but it is a really energetic sense as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of, if I say to everyone, like, take out thought, and who are you, then it's, if you don't think about who you are, then sometimes it can evoke that sense of presence. But it's an energetical, it's an embodied sense. There's been so many years invested in it. It really feels like there is something in here, and this reality is like so close that you're in here and that the world is out there. Amazing.
Thank you.
question is, how is this infinite?
How is this
Yeah,
infinite?
I am, I know I am here. How am I infinite?
You know you're where.
Hmm?
You know you're where. You said, I know I'm here. Where is here?
Just here.
So how is that infinite?
Yes, how am I infinite? I don't experience myself as infinite.
Yeah. Well, tell me, where does the I am, that sense of being, end?
Nowhere, but it has no size. You cannot say that it's this big or or infinite.
Okay. So you just want to talk about the word infinite?
Well, a lot of people talk about it. Teachers like the infinite. Shiva is the infinite because he's nothing, and nothing cannot be delimited. So, if I am one with the infinite and nothing ever happened, nothing ever separation cannot exist, right?
Yeah.
Then I need a proof, because I seem to understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I need an experiential proof. How is this infinite existing? And I am one with that.
The problem is you won't find proof in time, so you won't find proof in intellectual understanding or knowing it. You
No,
only...
but that's what I'm asking for. I am asking for a non-intellectual experience
Yeah.
of infinity. Because I cannot say that I experience myself, my I am, as infinite.
Yeah.
I experience myself as...
Yeah, but you're trying to enlighten the person and it won't work.
I'm not trying to enlighten the person.
You are, because you can't have that experience. You're looking in the separate world for that experience. You don't know you
It
are.
doesn't have to be a separate world. It can be an internal experience with no time, no space. But everybody talks about this infinity, like Shiva is infinite because it's nothing and it cannot be delimited, and all these philosophies about the being. And the most I can say to that is that I am not any size. I cannot say I am infinite. Infinite has to be like no limits. Okay? If I cannot see what's on the other side of the wall, I am limited. Right?
No, that's not true.
Well, how is that not true?
Because you imagine that there is a world outside that wall. It's all to do with mental constructions that have happened. So your mind has grown in a certain way of thinking, and then you're trying to find the answer in that certain way of thinking, and you won't find it there.
Okay, then direct me in the right
Direction.
Yes.
Well, first of all, it's not found in that way of thinking that there is a wall and there is an outside world out there. So just forget about that level of thinking and all the thinking that goes with trying to work this out.
But I know people who can do stuff like this.
Do what?
Like I have a friend in Nevada who can look through my body here in Tiru and tell me what's wrong with me.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's kind of a proof of not infinity, but an extended sense of perception. if the I am is perception, and it's infinite, then it has to perceive everything in infinite ways, in infinite dimensions and infinite colors and ways.
That's just your imagination.
Okay, maybe.
So-
Tell me the truth then.
But you don't really want to know it. You're like, tell me the truth then.
Huh?
You're like, tell me the truth then. You don't really want to know it.
I don't want to know it? No, I do want to know it. I am asking you.
I don't get the energy that you are.
Well, you say, doesn't matter.
What do you feel?
Right
No.
now, I feel fine.
Just put your attention into your body. What do you feel in your body?
It's ecstatic.
It's
Ecstatic.
huh. Just put your attention down there.
Yes, there is a buzz
Whereabouts is the buzz?
everywhere in
Yeah?
my body.
And what about the feelings and the emotions in the belly and in the heart area?
It's pretty much the same,
A buzz?
like everywhere else, yes. It's a subtle thing.
You have to be prepared to be vulnerable here and to not know. So if you want me to discuss this with you, you have to be prepared to give up everything that you know intellectually, and I'll point it out to you.
Okay, done.
So just shut your eyes a moment. So you know that buzz that you said there's like an electricity. So there's a sense of presence, of being this, of the being, a beingness.
It's like energy, but that's not me because I am observing it.
Actually, you're not
I am not what?
observing it. It's even more intimate than that. But just go into it. So just forget everything you've been taught by any other teacher for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is this sense of presence and a knowing of everything happening. And that knowing of everything that's happening isn't separate from what's actually happening. So there isn't something behind observing everything that's happening. There is only what's happening. So there is this buzz, and it's observing itself. It's known instantly. There isn't a separation between an observer and that buzz. It's all known by its appearance. There is no separate observing. You've been taught that, and the mind looks round at an observer, but that is your mind, the thinking, looking round at a separate observer. In experience, right here, right now, there is presence which is happening. There is sensation happening, and in the sensation, they are known instantly. There is no removal of something observing it. The witness is in all things. And my voice is a sensation. The aircon is a sensation. The space, this room, the air is all sensation, and there is God, and God is infinite. And it is known without any distance, without any time. It's instantaneously known. So my voice is a reflection of yourself as wholeness, because it's a sensation. And the observer is actually in my voice, the sound of my voice, not in a witness that's witnessing you as a character and then witnessing my voice. It's known in the happening. So you are everything that appears. Who you truly are is everything that appears. And the witness, the consciousness, is in everything that appears. Instantly, everything is known. And there is no inside and outside to that. It is your imagination of an outside of this that says there is an outside world, there is somewhere else I go to. That is a thought arising in this. That is not a reality. You're confused because you believe in an outside world, but it's only ever a belief. What you have is presence, which is limitless and always present, always here. Knowing is everywhere. Knowing is in the hooting outside. It's in the glass if you have your eyes open, in the walls, in the colour. It is everywhere and everything. It always has been. But it's looking through a body at the moment which has senses. But those senses aren't separate from the world that's around it. And it's looking through the senses. It's experiencing itself through the senses. It's huge, but it looks as if it's looking from one angle. But it's an infinite space, the senses. And the senses are empty. They are not a thing. So knowing is not a thing. The knowing of all of this, the presence, all the senses are empty. They're non-located. And yet, they're everything. And this is the direct experience when you come back to this rather than your mind that goes into time. You think that speakers are right or wrong, but this is all in thought. You won't find it in that world, in the word eternity or not eternity. That's already appearing. It's not relevant. We're lost in that world of thinking. Your mind will go, yes, but, hang on, da, 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 and all of that's appearing in presence. You won't find it in the world of thinking. Thinking comes and goes. It's not a reality thinking. You've believed it's a reality, and this is where you've got lost. You thought that thinking was real. It's a functioning that helps us survive. It's in no way a reality. And through thinking, you believed you were a subject and there was an object out there.
I could argue with this in multiple ways, but I'm not going to.
What's the point? You think that
There
you're
is
finding...
no point in it, no.
Well, you think you'll find the answer in the argument?
No, no.
Did it touch anything beyond that?
Well, it's like you're proposing another theory.
I'm not proposing a theory. You're not listening from the heart.
I am trying to. I am trying to give this a chance right now.
Oh. That was sweet, the way you said it. Yeah.
I have asked this question to many teachers, and
Yeah.
nobody can touch it.
Yeah. I understand. The other way then you have to go is you have to go through the body. You have to work on the person. So forget the whole non-duality side. Keep listening to it, but forget arguing about it. And you've got to go to the other side, and you've got to understand what you're doing as a person and what you're seeking for. So you can carry on listening to non-duality in the background, but you have to understand what you're looking for. You have to understand the character.
I am even not looking for so much anymore. I used to.
Yeah.
And I figured out that this whole thing is a hoax. Enlightenment is bullshit, basically. Because you're calling the natural state enlightenment for everybody, all the teachers. So then either we are all enlightened or we are not.
No, you've got to understand, because I'm going to tell you something about yourself that you're most probably unconscious of, and you've got to go and look at this yourself. What you're doing now is you're blaming the teachers for not finding God. And you're blaming the teachings for not finding God. It's the same thing that led you to seek for God.
Yes, and
you are angry with them, I assure you.
And then I realized that the whole thing is a joke. There is nothing to find other than what you are.
Yeah, but you say that out of ignorance. You don't say that out of really knowing that. You've got to look at what's happening in the personal dynamic. You've got to look what you're looking for. You've not done the work on the person.
What work?
You've got to understand what the person's doing. If there is the wanting to understand or to know this subject, you've got to work on the personal level of what you're seeking for.
What?
So,
I don't even understand what you're telling me.
Yeah. So you have to understand what you're looking for. You need to go back to the looking at what you're actually looking for and understanding that on an energetical bodily level, on the human level. Now go into the feeling and feel how that made you feel.
What?
In your body.
No change. What? What you told me?
Yeah.
There is no change in the body. I am trying to there is nothing to find other than what I am.
Why are you going like this? There is nothing to find other than what I am. That doesn't work. You'd be saying, again, there's nothing to find if you were telling the truth there. If you really believed it, you'd be nodding. You wouldn't be going like that.
No, the no confirms that there is nothing to find. Now you're criticizing my grammar or something.
No, you weren't. You were going like this when you
Yes.
said it.
Yeah, so nothing to find, that's a confirmation. No is a confirmation of no, right? So let's not go there. Actually, I don't know what you're teaching. Like, what are you trying to teach us?
I'm trying to tell you you need to get in contact with your feelings.
My feelings.
Yeah.
What, emotional feelings or,
Yeah.
or physical feelings?
Both.
Bodily.
Emotional feelings and physical feelings.
I am, my body is perfectly healthy. I have no pain. I feel great. I do, physically. However, I am trying to figure out something.
Let me show you back and reflect to you what you're doing. My body feels fine. There is nothing wrong with my body. Does this look like you're speaking what you feel?
Why not? This is how I feel comfortable. I always do this. I put my leg up like this.
Yeah. I know, and if I read Lisa's language of me singing like this, what would it say? The vagina's like... So sometimes body language reading is not the greatest. You've got to go to your feelings. I say this with love and compassion. Like, you really have to understand what you want as a person on the personal level. It's easy to get into Advaita and to skip this part.
I want very little. I have everything I need physically.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
I'm just looking for an understanding about myself.
Yeah.
How is this
But you
consciousness? I only know one consciousness that's in here, and it has a point of view. Okay? And as far as I know, that's me. And I cannot say that this is infinite. See, everything that you are teaching and other teachers are teaching brings me back to this consciousness.
How do you feel now in your body?
Same, I feel great.
You wouldn't say that you raised your voice a little bit there and that there might be some anger?
No.
No?
Why should that be an anger?
I'm just asking.
No, there is no anger. But you have diverged from what I was saying.
Oh yeah, that's because I don't really care about the intellect stuff.
Okay.
I'm more interested in what you feel now.
I don't feel anything. I feel fine.
Well, that's okay then. Describe what fine feels like. Tell me what your internal world is like.
Fine is when there is no pain and there is a subtle ecstasy that's always in the body when it's healthy. A healthy body has that. So...
Yeah, it's nice.
I am asking you about infinity.
Yeah, but I can only talk to you on that level once you understand the personal level.
What do I need to understand on the personal level?
You need to put the attention into the body a bit more and to understand what you're looking for.
What I am looking for spiritually?
Yeah, well, everything
in
comes
my spiritual search, what I am looking for?
In day-to-day living, but everything comes to spiritual. Everything comes to looking for love.
I cannot say that I'm looking for love.
Not love
I think that's another bullshit. I have not seen any love in this world.
What have you seen then?
A lot of bullshit and a lot of pain and suffering and delusion. That's what I have seen.
How does that make you feel?
So it's okay, but I've got this.
It makes me feel kind of edgy. Because I don't know why this bullshit is going on in the world.
Yeah. Thank you just for being so open then.
Yeah, no problem.
This is the reason why the Buddha got into this subject, was that his father tried to keep him in paradise. And then he kept him in a castle and tried to stop him from seeing any suffering, because when the Buddha was a child, a priest had come and said he'll either be a great king,
I know the story.
and then he saw suffering, and the suffering was the beginning of the spiritual path. So beginning to see that in the flow is the beginning of finding yourself again.
I consider myself very lucky because I don't have nearly as much suffering as I see in other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it hurts me that they are suffering. On some level it hurts me, not as intensely as if I was experiencing, but there is so many people. So
Yeah. Can you feel that in your body now?
what, the suffering?
What you feel when you see other people suffering?
No, I cannot feel that now. It has to be in the moment when I see it. In reality, when I see the crippled or the kids sleeping on the street or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Which country are you from?
I am from Hungary.
So this is the side which you now have to deal with, because I think intellectually, the consciousness side and the side of seeing and understanding this intellectually has been seen. So now you have to deal with this, is your anger towards God for this divide. Because underneath it, I know you really feel that I'm wrong.
I'm not angry with God. God has nothing to do with this.
Not God as in a separate entity. I mean, okay, you say consciousness then, if we put consciousness as the wholeness, an angriness for having experienced this separation. Because in separation, as soon as separation happens, there is war and peace, heaven and hell, good and bad. And it is constantly changing from one to the other, growth and destruction. So as soon as separation happens, there is a hate to the higher force for having seen this. And then our lives are based on this. Our lives are based on trying to avoid evil and get to good. And we can't. We have to see the freedom in all of it, the heaven and the hell. And this is an energetical thing, and this is where you have to explore the feelings of the body to find this part out. And the reason
I don't suppress my feelings when I see suffering. I used to, but lately I don't suppress it.
Yeah.
I go with it and I feel it as much as.
Yeah. So, and when it comes up, if you allow yourself to be angry with it, notice that you are angry at a higher force for having let this happen, that it's not fair, that there's a sense of not feeling fair, because all these games is what keeps someone inside the body in relationship with the world.
Well, someone is creating havoc, no doubt about it, but I don't think it's God. And I don't think it's even a higher force.
What do you think it is?
It's just some criminal thugs ruining it for everybody. Yeah. Politicians,
Yeah.
lawyers,
Yeah.
doctors, scientists, priests,
Yeah.
spiritual teachers. Not you. Some. There are some. Yeah.
This is what level you need to work on now, is understanding your belief systems as a person, because you've seen it. You've seen that you are wholeness, but your body is still contracted in separation. So your body-mind mechanism is still pulling in the story of self and other. So you still see yourself, because wholeness means, if this is really a world of wholeness, it means that everything you're seeing is a reflection of yourself. So everything you see as bad is yourself.
But that's why I can't believe it.
Yeah. But you need to see
I
it.
would never do the things that I have found out are happening in the world, like Satanism or this kind. I would never do those things. I could not even come up with these ideas that some people are manifesting.
But then, when it's really seen that this isn't a world that's divided, then it must be you. I don't mean you on the personal level.
The way I know myself, I cannot believe that what I'm seeing is my manifestation.
It's not your manifestation as a person.
Possible, because
No.
I am not like that.
Yeah. But not your manifestation as a person. I don't mean that. I mean as wholeness, as that consciousness.
Yeah, but where is the wholeness? Everybody's separated. Everybody has to have their own car, their own money, their own bank account. Nobody wants to share anything. Where is the unity? Where is it?
It's in the consciousness. It's in that which looks. It's in the presence.
Yeah, okay, so you can say that we are all looking from the same place.
Yeah.
But where is the proof? I'm familiar with all these philosophies.
The proof will be there when you understand yourself on the personal level.
I understand myself on the personal level. That's why I can't believe that the world is my projection.
I'm not saying it's your projection as a person, but you need to understand your feelings inside your body. You need to understand what you're doing.
What am I doing?
Well,
when I feel something, I understand it as loving or angry or anywhere in between. I understand my feelings according to what they tell me. What are you talking about? What else do I need to understand?
well, it's hard to describe. It's hard to show you if you don't feel something now. Is there something in your life? Is there a very personal story? It doesn't have to be very dramatic, in which your mind keeps getting stuck on.
It used to be, but I forget everything since I came to Tiru.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here in Tiru, I feel so nice. I don't have to think about anything. Everything is perfect. Once in a while, these infinities mess with me.
And when you're outside Tiru, is there a story which has comes up or you get stuck on?
Well, that was back in California. That's a completely different situation, which I'm not even going back to because I hate it. I cannot live there anymore. It's crap. Just complete bullshit what those people are living in California. Yeah. And, it could go on Europe. It's becoming like America.
Yeah.
Europe is becoming like America. I met this person from Sweden, and she completely behaved like a Californian. And I'm like, what? Where are you from? She's supposed to be from Sweden. And she would vote for Hillary if she had the chance, right?
So, how does that make you feel?
What about her?
About the crap, the hate that you have.
So it makes me feel cheated.
Yeah.
Because I have to deal with these brainwashed people who are following the mainstream media, who's completely lying about everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel cheated because this person comes to my house and stays with me, and we cannot have we did have a nice interaction, but we also got into some argument about when it came to the politics of it.
So tell me, where do you feel the sensation when you feel it of feeling cheated?
Yeah, it is like a sinking feeling in my heart.
Yeah.
Where I feel like I cannot be open with this person because they are so defensive about their ideas and what they have been fed.
Yeah.
that I feel like I cannot even say anything, because if I say what I want to say, I will be rejected,
Yeah.
and things will be even worse.
Yeah.
And I see the situation and I just, okay, this is as far as I go with this,
Yeah.
because I know where it leads. I've got into too many arguments
Yeah.
already about everything.
So that feeling that you have in your heart of feeling cheated will be a pattern that will have appeared in your life, I'm sure, of feeling cheated.
Yeah.
And this is something that you, while you're unconscious of it, it will keep repeating. And you have
I'm
to
not
become
unconscious of it.
you have to become aware of what you're actually looking for. On the human bodily level, you're looking for love, always. And in some point in your life, you've associated certain actions with cheating and having taken something from you. And so therefore, this is a story you keep getting stuck in. Like, so you've taken it on, you've seen certain actions happen, you've seen people act badly, you reject that, and you've taken the story of goodness into you, and therefore you're always looking for that story again. You miss everything else that's happening, and you live in that story again and again and again. And you'll even be attracted to it. You'll be attracted to that story of feeling cheated, but you'll see it with the spiritual teacher that's cheated you, the politician that's cheated you, the other person that's cheated you, me or whoever. But really, who you totally feel cheated by is God when you separated as a child.
No.
But you
I
have
no
to see this
problem
in the body.
with God.
You have to go into this.
God told me that He didn't create any of this shit.
Okay, forget the word God then. Consciousness, wholeness, forget the word God. I mean wholeness. But this is something you have to explore. You have to go into the bodily feelings and see what you're actually looking for. If you want to really see affinity, you have to understand yourself on a personal level.
That somehow doesn't...
Because
doesn't
otherwise...
compute. Why do I need to work with the person to see infinity? The person is limited.
Yeah, but that cloud is going to stay thick unless it's explored, and you'll never be able to see what's beyond the cloud. The sunlight that goes on for infinity.
So what am I supposed to do with the person?
You have to keep looking to see what's underneath your feelings. So that story of feeling cheated is like that feeling that spiritual teachers, you have to follow it back and see what's underneath that. What do I really feel here?
Yeah, I really, now that you mention it, this cheating feeling it's been there with my mother, with my sister, with my girlfriends.
We're all playing them. We all have our particular loops that we go round on. And we're convinced by them, even though we do them again and again and again, we're convinced. So you have to go underneath that feeling. So what do you feel? And I can't say it now because you have to feel it. So the next time you feel cheated, you have to say, okay, I feel cheated and I think it's because of them, but let me just go the other way and see what is underneath feeling cheated. And you might be able to sense that actually what you feel is fear and rejection from them. But that's something you have to explore when it's there, because it's not something I can teach you. So you have to go deep into the feelings and see what you're looking for. You'll begin to notice that in every interaction you're having, you're always looking for love and trying to avoid fear. And this is what the seeker is made of. This is what separation does. When separation happens at 1 or 2 years old, the two feelings it identifies with is fear and love. It wants to run away from fear and get to love all the time. And everybody has their particular patterns, their particular stories that they form. So yours is you feel cheated, so therefore you're always trying to avoid being cheated and get to love. Therefore, that story keeps going round. But the problem is it won't work. Because then suddenly the rain will be cheating you, or the sunlight will be cheating you, or the car will be cheating you. Your mind will keep seeing the story again and again and again until you go and actually look to see what's in there. And you understand what your mind is doing. When you understand it, it won't keep acting out in the same way. And everybody has their particular stories. And everyone has strong stories in some areas and little bits in other areas. So you've got the ones that always feel victim. So they're always looking to be the victim.
Wait, you're going too fast.
Sorry.
I'm on Tiru space.
Yeah. I know, I'm like,
I can't flip my mind that fast.
So everybody, I was just saying that everybody has their own unique stories, and it's something your mum and dad will have taught you.
Yeah, you have given me a clue because this seems like a repetitive.
Have you ever seen the film Groundhog Day?
Yes.
This is in Buddhism, like they love this film in Buddhism because this is what the mind does. It just does the same stories again and again and again. It just does them in different formations. And it's almost like, on one level, you have to hear the consciousness stuff and you have to hear who you truly are. And then on the other level, you have to understand the loops that you're getting stuck in. And it's not really you that's understanding it. It's not really your effort, but it seems like that. You, as a person, seem like you have to understand yourself on a personal level. Otherwise, it will keep going. It's like, so the analogy that they say, I think, in Advaita often is, it's like that separation, those loops are like clouds in the sky. And who you truly are is the sunlight. And unless you investigate those clouds and those loops, they don't begin to part, so you can't see the sunlight. It's like when you see the loops, you'll stop playing them. When you really see that you often feel cheated in life, it will begin to disappear. You'll begin to find it funny. You'll see someone doing something, and then it's like, it almost drives you a bit crazy when you begin to deconstruct a little, because you see someone doing something and your mind interprets they're cheating me, and then something else says, hang on, but you always think that sort of thing, or you often think that sort of thing. Is that true? And then it begins to crack.
I never even formulated this
Thoughts.
the way I did today,
Yeah.
as in cheating.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like a
No, but
revelation to me.
what your mind does is it says, those bloody politicians, look what they're doing to other people.
Oh yeah, they are screwing everybody.
Yeah, but that's cheating. So that's on the surface. So you're sitting there maybe watching like in ashram, like everybody getting their food.
But the cheating is very important because I remember being let down by my mother when I was like 18 or something.
Yeah.
And I actually had to emigrate from Hungary 80% because of my mother.
Yeah. She'll have most probably let you down before that. Like there'll be another time, but that was the one big one that you remember. But you'll have most probably felt it before with her.
Yeah, there were many instances, but
that was a big one.
One sticks out.
Yeah. And so what happens is if you grow up in that dynamic with your mother, your mind begins to form particular stories, and then you project it on what you see. So say in the ashram when they give away food, one person might be looking at that and thinking how wonderful it is. So one person's viewing and they're like, this is amazing that they're giving away food. And then the other person is sitting there and thinking, they're so rich, Ramana Maharshi ashram, they could give double amount of food, and why do they make them queue during the day? And look at that long queue. Couldn't they provide seats for people? So there's two different views dependent on your particular makeup. And so this is why it's important to see it, because you get stuck in these loops and you really believe they're reality, and they're not. They're simply thoughts. That's not reality. And then the body will be attracted to those stories because it feels comfortable with them. So you'll do it again. You'll find that other people cheat you, and then your heart closes down more, and you can't find that love anymore. Your heart closes to the love, and so you're looking for love, but at the same time you're scared to even look for it.
Yeah, I've been more like pushing it away for like 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially what you really crave deep down. And so then what it does when you push it away is you just become a bit cold, cut off. And on one side that's really good, because that's often when you can have the intellectual understanding and hearing of the non-dual side, but then there has to be the other side where you begin to become alive again and like a child, so you begin to open up again on the human level. So this is why I said forget infinity, and we've got to talk about what you feel.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
That was beautiful conversation, thank you. Yeah, that was really beautiful. Yeah, I think so, Langa?
21.
Huh?
21 minutes.
21. Hey.
Hello. I'm just going to take a moment
Oh, sure.
to drop in. It's so close. This conversation of what is it really that I'm looking for, or what is it really that I want. I love these two. Recently, I found myself writing those very two questions down.
Yeah.
In exploring this before, what occurs is sort of the movement into these feelings and this sort of sense of well, that very innocence and that very love you were speaking about, that
Yeah.
really all I really want
Yeah.
is to love.
Yeah.
And simultaneously the surrender or the statement, it's energetic as well, right? But if it had words, it would say something like, all I really want is to love, and I don't know how.
Yeah.
So that I don't know how is sort of that movement of surrender. And I feel its fluctuation. What I mean by that is even sitting with you here right now, noticing when I first sat down that I could feel that very sense of I just want to love and I don't know how, like tenderly feel it, almost tearing up, right? And then that sort of subtly transforms or blends into this other sense of complete quiet or just calm stillness. Maybe even absent. I've been calling it, instead of mindfulness, absent-mindedness. It's just like there's nothing.
Yeah.
So, if there was a question here, it's around do I keep coming back to that, or it's sort of like it feels like whatever is happening here internally, whatever layers are still holding on, or like as a me and then the world, the world. It's like it's such a thin. I was almost seeing like an eggshell, it's sort of so thin, and you could poke it, and it shows itself. But it sort of feels like there's still that shell.
Yeah.
So
you feel a sensation of you want to know exactly what to do with it?
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna ask it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it just wants to just, like, it just wants to love, you know? I just want to love this.
Yeah.
That is you, not all this. It has a sense of melting or just complete surrender, you know, just diving off the cliff. So it's sort of like, am I still holding on to something? What am I, you know?
And what does that feeling of that feel like? What's it saying?
Well, this is sort of, and maybe I'm just removing myself from it, but this is where it just turns quiet.
Yeah.
So it goes from that, like, sort of like, I just want to love, to like, just peace, you know. And in the peace, there's a subtle understanding or a knowing that the you out there that I'm wanting to love is here as the I.
Yeah.
So then it's quiet.
Yeah. It takes time though, because the mind oscillates it out. It keeps putting it out there. But it's beautiful.
So
And even, I didn't understand what you were saying at first. I've only just really understood. I thought you were talking about everything. Like loving everything. And then I realized it was me.
No, it is everything.
Oh.
Yeah, you as in the totality.
Oh, then I got confused. I thought you were saying me personally.
No. I mean, you're included. It's everything, right?
I think I got a bit confused. But so you have this sensation that you want to love.
Just this movement of giving oneself onto love, complete surrender to this, to the totality.
Yeah.
Right, because there's, like I'm saying, the eggshell is representative of the sense of like there's still like a me here trying to surrender to the whole.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's sort of, I guess, it's a comment, but it's also like, is there anything that you...
Just give me a moment and let me feel it.
Sure.
I don't understand what you mean, but I can get things wrong. I'm wondering if you're not actually saying what is true, just because I'm confused. Could be just that Lisa's brain is confused, but I wonder if you're really able to say what you mean. But it could be that I'm just confused. Just feel it for a second. So right here, right now, not what you did write down or didn't write down. What is it that you want right now? And if it doesn't formulate into a word, that's okay, but if you can feel it, what it is you want right now.
Would you like me to voice that?
Yeah, if you can.
It seems like everything but the belly at this moment is sort of quiet and at peace, and the belly is asking for that same sense of peace.
Yeah. So what does the belly feel?
It's interesting because it's not any feeling that I know how to put words on. We'll just go with somehow like it's alone or separate or something from the rest.
Yeah. It's interesting because I want to speak to you about non-duality. I know you brought up feelings. I want to go to non-duality.
You can.
So one really intense time that I had in my life prior to the big part of this body's awakening. So I was still seeking, but not as intensely as I had. There'd been many awakenings, but there was still a seeking energy there. But the seeking energy was really surrendered. It wasn't going out anymore. As soon as the seeking energy came up, it would just go inwards, like into the Lisa body and see what was going on and stay with it. It really wasn't trying to get anywhere. Obviously, the energy was trying to move, but there was a real surrender in it. And what came up at this time was an immense sense of loneliness. Like I felt so alone. At this point in my life, I'd lost a lot of things and a lot of my life had changed, and I was in Asia by myself, and I felt such loneliness. And I knew that it wasn't true. I deeply knew that that couldn't be the reality of things. And so every time it came up, I would quickly go back to my bedroom and I would sit there and I would let that loneliness take over. And I'd just let it out and I'd let it be lonely. And I would cry and I'd feel so alone, like all my family were far away. I didn't have anyone to talk to that knew about what had happened to me, that it was just such a feeling of being alone. And then this went on for a few days. And then one day I was laying on the floor and I'd have a yoga mat and I would kind of like put it under my back and I'd push my heart out so it sort of like almost felt really exposed, that sense of loneliness, and like really push it out. And then I noticed the trees dancing outside the window in the wind and the light sort of jumping off them. I was in Bali, so it was like tropical trees and it was really beautiful. And there was just this profound sense that came that I could have never possibly been alone because everything was there. That those trees were touching me as much as any feeling inside of my body or any image inside of my body, they were as much me, and they were my company because they were me. I had never been looking at them apart from them. They were in me, and they were my company. And it was like, it's like a poem. Their movement, like the dance of them, it was like almost though I could feel them touching me. Not touching me, Lisa, but me as the I am, me as presence. They were touching me in the most intimate way. And my aloneness began to change into a strength, into a feeling of centeredness, aloneness, but feeling centered, not lonely, but all one, aloneness. Because this is a one things, this is a world of one. It's not a world of separation. So you never look at something else. You never experience something else. You only experience yourself. And in the movement of them, even though they were outside this body, they were touching me. It was almost like they were caressing me. And this was just a little bit of an awakening, like an awakening experience.
Thank you.
And allow that aloneness, that loneliness to come up, because on its other side, it's such an intimacy. Thanks. 3 minutes. Well, it gets harder to see over there. Oh, you want to go? Yes, you can have a go. I was just looking around because people come up and say hi to me on the street. And sometimes when there's lots of people in the audience, you can't remember everyone. So. It's easier with people that sat at the front. Yes, Elango.
What should be done for the awakening in Ilango as it happened to you in Bali?
It's a happening, Elango. It's a happening. It's beautiful to watch you. I know it comes and goes, and when it goes, you're like, oh God, I've lost it. But just let the process happen. It's not yours or mine, my doing. It's a happening. It's a flowing perfectly.
Why is it happening? Palpitations.
The palpitations.
Yeah.
Most probably because something most probably broke there, and then the body responds with the fear. I used to get a lot of, meditation. Not a lot, but I would be meditating, and it almost felt like everything began to go outward and dissolve, and then the heart would start going. But you could, you're a doctor, so on the other hand, always check yourself out. But it could be too much salt in the diet. But this, I went and checked myself out. But it would start, and sometimes I would just be doing something ordinary, and it would start. And it's almost like I could feel that everything would begin to go outwards, and then the heart would respond with that. And then it got to a point where the fear would be generated, but in another way I didn't even feel afraid. I felt like I died 1,000 times.
But this happens when I come there and sit down and come here.
Oh yeah?
Not at other times of the day.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Just in front of me.
When I sit down there and think, like I must come and sit down here.
Yeah.
Is that an anxiety?
Sorry?
Anxiety.
There's anxiety there as well? What was the question?
Why is this palpitation happening?
I don't know.
Is it because of fear?
I think it's more than likely, it could be a couple of things. It could be that when you sit down in your presence, for a moment, there's a sense of feeling what you want. So everything begins to go outwards and your body becomes afraid because it feels like it's losing control. Or it could be you're afraid you won't get what you want, and then the anxiety is produced, and then...
Yeah, that's it, probably, the second one. Because it starts from there.
I won't get what I want.
Out of control.
Yeah.
So anything to be done?
It's all happening perfectly. And you've got to remember, we're not waking up for ourselves. This is humans waking up. This is humanity waking up. So we look at it as a personal process, and we we think that it began when we got into spirituality and it ends when we have certain awakenings, but it's actually the human process that's happening. It's the human experience waking up. So it's like it began so long ago, it identified, and then it's beginning to unidentify. It's beautiful in the flow of things. But we look in our life and we think, what, I must hurry up on this. I've been doing it for 10 or 20 or 30 years. But there is no hurry. This is something that humanity is going through.
So what's the message? Take-home message for the day.
It's a happening.
Or can we say it like this? I was just thinking about it when I'm going to ask you this question. Take-home message is, I am the home.
Yeah. I am home. That's, I think, I don't like to quote him because I really didn't read that many of Nisargadatta Maharaja's books in my seeking days. I read I Am That, but slowly. But I think that's what he meant by I am that.
Infinity, that the gentleman was speaking about. So this is infinity asking these questions.
Always.
Infinity forgotten itself, asking another infinity which has remembered itself. Sort of?
Sort of. I'm just nodding, I'm like...
As near as to that.
That's what the English do, well. Then, sorry.
And this infinity trying to remember itself is not in this entity's control.
It's a happening. It might seem like you're doing things, but it's a happening.
By words or by an energetic transmission, sometimes they say the teacher, disciple, it happens with so many teachers, with the Raman Maharishi and Babaji. There have been instances of being quoted that something happens in their presence.
So yeah, but it's also a bit of a misunderstanding because it's their own presence. You know that thanking the teacher thing that I keep quoting?
So what's this teacher thing?
You know, the thing about like, when it's really seen, you do not thank the teacher.
But what are those instances where there have been students and teachers where this opening has happened?
Well, that's what seems to happen in the dream, but then you begin to realize that it's all your dream as the amness. So the teacher was a reflection of yourself. There wasn't actually someone separate out there.
So how to slip out of the dream which I have created?
It's a happening.
I have created this dream and I am trying to get out of this.
No, not really you as a Lango.
As the
A
infinity.
Lango was created and then there was an answer seemingly in that creation.
And here there is a waiting for this Ilango to collapse.
Seems to be. But is that happening right now? Because this is all that's important.
What's happening?
What's happening now? Is there a waiting now? Are you waiting? That way.
Mosquito?
Yeah.
Waiting for the collapse, yes.
You're waiting?
For the collapse of the
So can you
energy
feel
which-
that vivid sense of waiting? Because that's where it is. That's where home is, in that full-on sensation of waiting. That's where it is. The mind says the waiting is coming with the next moment that I bring in, but it's actually home, it's in that waiting sensation. All there is waiting. And in a way that disappears.
So as the other gentleman was asking you on that prolonged discussion,
Yeah.
which is beautiful, what's your teaching?
It's a happening. That's enough. Thanks, guys. Thank you.